Okay, let's dive into this. The $10 million morning. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, grabbing your phone, opening up your banking app, and bam, you see a brand new $10 million deposit sitting right there. And here's the kicker. There's absolutely no catch. No crazy lottery odds, no scam. Just a real spendable balance hitting the account of every single person on Earth. The barista making your morning coffee? 10 million. The CEO of your company? 10 million. Your next-door neighbor? And you? Suddenly, literally everyone is a multimillionaire. I mean, it sounds like the absolute perfect utopia, right? Poverty solved overnight. But is it?
$10 million. Let that massive number just kind of sink in for a second. We're talking about a synchronized global financial event where this staggering amount of money just magically appears out of thin air. We aren't talking about sketchy loans you have to pay back or giant pallets of printed cash sitting uselessly in some bank vault. No, this is liquid, spendable, digital cash ready to be swiped on a debit card today. Now, your first instinct is probably a massive sigh of relief, right? You'd pay off your mortgage, buy that absolute dream car, book a first-class ticket to Bali, and proudly text your boss that you are officially done. Because hey, everyone's rich now, so the struggle is completely over. Well, not quite. Because within about 24 hours, that utopian fantasy turns into a complete and utter nightmare.
And that brings us to a question that totally flips this fantasy upside down. Would this money actually be worth anything? It's a beautifully simple question, but sticking around for the answer is going to reveal something surprisingly deep and maybe a little uncomfortable about what money actually is. If you've always assumed wealth is just the digits staring back at you on a screen, well, this little thought experiment is about to completely redefine your entire understanding of economics.
To really understand why our glorious $10 million morning turns into an absolute disaster, we have to look at a fundamental rule of economics. Money is a claim on wealth, not wealth itself. Think of money simply as a ticket. That's all it is. It's a voucher you use to claim actual pre-existing goods and services in the real world. I mean, you can't eat a dollar bill, and you definitely can't live inside a digital bank statement. Real wealth is the actual stuff. It's the food, the housing, the cars, the energy. Money is just the super convenient tool we use to trade those things.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is exactly where the math breaks down. On one side of the equation, we have this massive overnight explosion of cash. Everyone has $10 million to burn. But on the other side, we have a rigidly fixed supply of real stuff. There are still only so many houses available in New York. There are only so many new Toyota Camrys rolling off the assembly line this month. And there are only so many cartons of eggs sitting in your local grocery store this very morning. The physical items didn't multiply, only the paper tickets chasing those items multiplied. And when everyone tries to buy the exact same limited stuff at the exact same time with their brand new millions, prices don't just gently rise, they absolutely explode.
Let's make this scarcity problem incredibly tangible for a second. Think about your standard, everyday grocery run. Maybe you usually spend, say, $60 on some basics. Bread, milk, eggs, maybe some chicken. Well, with everyone suddenly armed with $10 million, those grocery store shelves are going to clear out instantly. To prevent running out, or just because people are simply bidding against each other for the very last loaf of bread, that $60 grocery trip could easily spike to $600 by next week, or heck, maybe $6,000. And this isn't because the food somehow changed. A carton of eggs is still just a carton of eggs. It's because the sheer volume of money chasing those exact same eggs just multiplied 1,000-fold overnight.
Economists actually have a formal name for the catastrophe we just described. It's called hyperinflation. It happens when demand explodes, because remember, everyone is suddenly flush with cash, but the actual supply of goods stays exactly the same. And this causes prices to spike rapidly and totally uncontrollably. Basically, the currency outgrows the actual physical stuff it is supposed to represent. When this happens, money stops being a reliable store of wealth and rapidly turns into little more than meaningless wallpaper.
Let's move to and see how this built. Because this isn't just some theoretical mind game. History has actually run this experiment for us over and over again. Look at Weimar Germany in the 1920s, Zimbabwe in the 2000s, and Venezuela in the 2010s. Guys, it's the exact same story, just playing out in different decades. Governments decided to print massive amounts of currency without actually making more stuff to back it up. They gave everyone more currency thinking, hey, this will solve our economic problems. But giving people cash without increasing production, it has completely failed every single time.
Take a look at 1920s Germany for a perfect example. The government printed money to pay off massive war debts. Wages rose, bank balances skyrocketed, and on paper, everyone had more money than ever before. But here's the catch. Bread didn't magically get any easier to bake. Coal didn't get any easier to mine. Because those real resources stayed scarce while the currency units exploded, prices literally doubled every few days. It got so outrageously bad that people were burning bundles of banknotes in their fireplaces for heat. Seriously. Why? Because the physical paper the money was printed on was actually worth more as fuel than its spending value as cash. The currency became completely meaningless. Our $10 million morning would be this exact scenario, just compressed into a few frantic days instead of years.
Okay, so this brings us to the absolute critical climax of our thought experiment. If everyone is suddenly a millionaire, who shows up to work? Seriously, really think about it for a second. Most people would probably text their boss and quit immediately. But here is the massive flaw in that master plan. Somebody still has to grow the food. Somebody has to generate the electricity, drive the delivery trucks, and keep the municipal water running. If the grocery store clerks, the power plant operators, and the truck drivers are all sitting at home enjoying their $10 million, society grinds to an absolute halt in a matter of days.
And here is the massive twist of the entire scenario. Those essential workers, like the farmers growing our food, would suddenly hold all the real power in society. And it wouldn't be because of their shiny new bank balances. No, it's because they control something genuinely scarce, their physical labor and their highly specialized skills. A farmer who actually continues to harvest crops while everyone else refuses to work, they could suddenly set absolutely any price they want for food. Because now, food, not cash, is the incredibly scarce resource that everyone is frantically fighting over. Wealth quietly but violently shifts from whoever has the most money to whoever controls the actual things that human beings literally cannot live without.
And this brilliantly illustrates what being rich actually means. If you have $10 million and everyone else has $10, you are undeniably rich. You have immense purchasing power and you can buy almost anything. But if you have $10 million and everyone else also has $10 million, you aren't rich anymore. You are exactly average. The literal digits in your account are identical in both scenarios, but the meaning of that number has completely evaporated. It's like a giant scoreboard. Money only works as a scoreboard when the scores are different. If you make everyone's score exactly the same, the scoreboard stops meaning anything at all.
So, the crucial point is the uncomfortable truth hiding inside this entire thought experiment. Real wealth was never the paper bills in your wallet, and it's definitely not the digital digits on your screen. Real wealth is land. It's food, it's energy, skills, and the physical, time-consuming labor required to actually produce essential goods. A government, or in our case, a magical bank glitch, can print unlimited amounts of money, but they absolutely cannot print unlimited houses, limitless wheat, or endless barrels of oil. You simply cannot shortcut the creation of real value.
The next time someone casually suggests we should just print more money and hand it out to everyone to solve the world's problems, well, now you'll know exactly why it's just not that simple. Which leaves us with one final, profound question to ponder today. If you woke up tomorrow with $10 million, but you knew society would completely collapse if no one did the essential jobs, would you keep working? It truly challenges our fundamental assumptions about society, human nature, and our place in the world. Let me know your honest thoughts in the comments. Keep questioning how the world around you actually works, and I'll see you on the next explainer.